Oh, yes. It is the weekly COMC sales report. We're going to go through top sellers among hockey, basketball, baseball, football, non-sports / culture cards. I will be right back. See you in a minute. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. It is another day. We're at the end of the week, guys. Another day. It's a Friday. It is another card video. If you're here for the sports cards, sports memorabilia, collectibles type talk, we're here pretty much every day delivering it for you. Please hit the big red button down below, the subscribe button. And if you do like what you hear, please hit the like button. It's helpful. It is helpful. Also, connect with me on the old IG. I know what you're thinking. You're too old to be on Instagram. And you're right, but still, check us out, Sports Card Dad, and I'm also on Twitter, the Sports Card Dad. All right, channel friends at COMC, they send us this data weekly, and I love reporting on it. It is cool. So it's based on volume, not dollar amount. The idea behind that is if one or two players has a massive dollar sale, then they could be number one or number three or number five or whatever. So we're basing it on volume from last week from COMC's sales. And it's also going to include the sales that are on the site. It's going to include port sales. And it's also going to include the stuff that sells on eBay, etc. So it's kind of just taking everything in. You could kind of look at this as somewhat of like a COMC hot list, kind of like in the old Beckett days. This is not a buy these cards or sell these cards now. It's just data, informational / educational / entertainment information for you to use or just laugh at, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just here for you. All right, let's start with football. We've got football season coming up this week. Thursday is the big kickoff game, and my Saints are going to take on the Dirty Bird Falcons on Sunday, and the Falcons are going to get stomped. Just kidding, Falcons fans. Sort of kidding. Number one on the list, of course, it's the GOAT, Tom Brady. Pretty consistent here. Tom Brady has a lot of cards, and people like his cards. He's got obviously a lot of Patriot stuff. He's got new Bucs stuff. Kind of a lot of question marks around like, hey, we don't have Gronk anymore. Can Tom Brady do this thing without Gronk? I know he's still got a lot of weapons down there in Tampa. They do have a great defense, etc. But you're starting to kind of get to an age where it's like, I don't know. I'm just very curious to see if he can do the same sort of stuff without Gronk, because Gronk has really been kind of that saving grace over the last decade for Tom Brady. So we will have to see. Obviously, as a Saints fan, I'm biased. We're going to be coming for him. Number two, Joe Burrow moves up the list. I like Joe Burrow. I mean, the fact that he went to LSU, and I like kind of his swagger that he brings. He's kind of, it's weird. He's kind of understated in the sense that he's not, he's just very cool about the way that he delivers his press conferences, but he's very matter of fact about how we're just going to beat you down. Like, he is just very matter of fact. He's got a giant chain with a medallion on it. Hard not to like that. He sits at number two. I think people are excited to see what the Bengals have. Overall, they have a good team, so we'll see. Can the Bengals get through the AFC North again? The next two guys I'll lump together because we had them last week. Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance. Both of these guys, a lot of expectations, a lot of money pouring into both of these guys. I actually think that Trevor Lawrence is I don't know if it's going to be this season, but I think that with Peterson coaching that team, he's a Super Bowl winning coach. He won with Nick Foles with the Eagles. I like him. I think Peterson is a great coach, good quarterback coach too. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be much improved. Just a matter of, can Jacksonville compete at a level to where they can be a playoff team? Maybe not this year, but I think that Trevor Lawrence has got a bright future. Trey Lance, interesting. Garoppolo re-signs at a discount or whatever, so they're hanging on to Garoppolo. Hard to really understand what that looks like or what that even means. But again, they're going to roll with Trey Lance. They do have a great coach there, offensive-minded coach. So we'll see what happens in San Francisco. They also just have a talented overall team. So Trey Lance, just another interesting guy. People make a lot of comparisons between him and Patrick Mahomes. Until he does Mahomes type stuff. I mean, I know people like to do this with all sports. Oh, this hitter looks like that hitter. This lineman looks like that lineman. there aren't going to be too many Patrick Mahomes. There just aren't. I mean, Trey Lance might actually look more like Kyler Murray when it's all said and done. And again, Kyler Murray still early in his career. A lot of these guys could break out. We just don't know which one of these 32 starting quarterbacks is really going to make moves, which ones are going to take a step back and so forth. So it's been interesting to watch kind of the money that's poured into young quarterbacks over this offseason summer. There's just a lot of excitement around football cards in general. And last but not least, Justin Jefferson enters this mix. Kirk Cousins throwing him the ball. There's been a lot of talk, I think, too, that Justin Jefferson's going to get a lot of balls thrown his way this year. So could be a big fantasy football year for him. So that could also be like the fantasy football guys are looking at the cards and thinking like, is there something here with Justin Jefferson? But Justin Jefferson, barring injury, one of the best young wide receivers in the NFL. Let's go to hockey, where, as you know, if you watch my channel, I don't know a lot of hockey stuff, guys. I'm going to barely be able to pronounce these names, but for you hockey fans out there that asked for some hockey data, I'm here for you. Number one, we've got Wayne Gretzky, a shock to no one. Connor McDavid coming in number two, one of the hottest young stars in hockey, I know. Is he the next kind of guy? Is he that generational player? Hockey fans in the comments, throw that down below. I know there's a lot of talk about Connor McDavid being kind of like a GOAT, a future GOAT, if you will. Is he like this generation's LeBron, or am I missing it? Anyway, number three, Alexis Lafreniere. I don't speak French. My wife speaks French. I don't speak French, so I'm going to mess this up. Alex Lafreniere. 4, Kirill Kaprizov. And 5, Cole Makar. Sorry, guys. I know it's not right. I know, but I'm bringing it to you. Those are the guys selling on COMC last week. Basketball. I did have some requests to have kind of retired basketball players. I'm going to see if we can do something like that, because I'm really just going with current active players in the NBA now, because as we've said in previous past episodes, Michael Jordan is number one every single week without fail. So for active players, number one is typically LeBron James. And we've got LeBron James again, number one this week. Ja Morant moves up to the number 2 spot. Zion's still in there in the top 5. I just think a lot of people, to me, Zion is just kind of, if you're a flipper, if you're a speculator, it's got to be that people are just buying in kind of Zion on the lower end, or what they feel is at a good value. And then he comes out, he pops off, and they look to sell it. I mean, maybe there's a lot of long-term Zion holders. Maybe there are. But I have to assume that if there's a lot of volume going on, I'm just guessing here that there's speculation, because this has happened in the past. This has happened his rookie season. He got hurt. His card slid down in price. A lot of people, I saw a few people, I think, on a Facebook group that were talking about this, where they picked up a bunch of Zion when the price went down when he got hurt his rookie year, and then sold it at a massive upswing when he came back and was kind of doing his thing. So Zion is kind of, he's that short-term flip guy. I think a lot of people count on him. LaMelo Ball has come into the top 5 at number 4. And then we round out with the Ant-Man. He's been top 5 the last 3 weeks for every single episode. Ant-Man, popular in Minnesota. He's just an exciting young player. Curious to see kind of where he goes, because I remember when he was drafted number 1 overall, it was kind of like, this draft class is okay and this and that and whatever. He didn't really get a whole lot of love. It was like Anthony Edwards, I think, where did he play? Georgia, out of Georgia. Everybody was just kind of like, okay, Anthony Edwards, number 1, blah. And he's really been an exciting player. And then the other part is, in his press conferences, he's funny. Like, he's actually got some personality he displays in press conferences. He's got funny ads. So, yeah, Ant-Man is in there, number 5. Baseball's number 1, Aaron Judge with the Yankees. Man, those Yankees fans, they like their baseball cards. Aaron Judge was moving last week on COMC.com. Number 2, Griffey Jr., man. Griffey Jr., another seller. He is just a seller. People like buying Griffey and selling Griffey Jr. I get it. He was the man back when I was growing up. 89 Upper Deck. Ken Griffey Jr. was everything. Now that I'm older, I see that they just kept on making inserts and different cards for Griffey. A lot of cool stuff out there. He's got a great autograph too. He's got kind of like a big sweeping autograph. It's cool stuff. Number 3, Shohei Ohtani, the Babe Ruth, the modern day Babe Ruth, right? He can pitch it, he can hit it, and that's Ohtani. 4, Mike Trout in the top 5, and we've got Bryce Harper coming in, rounding it out. solid players. And is Mike Trout's career over? Is he coming back? It's like nobody can make up their mind on Mike Trout. It's like he's either, his career's over, or no, man, he's still going. We're still going with this thing. And now we'll finish out with non-sports. We actually had a couple of big movers this week that were not on last week. Some just surprised me. So I thought this was cool. Number 1, Spider-Man per usual. Number 2, She-Hulk. The She-Hulk show, popular. I haven't actually checked the ratings on Disney to kind of see what that's about, and I haven't watched it yet. It does look cool. I do like the Hulk character. He's just one of my favorite Marvel characters. Always like She-Hulk too, as kind of the female version. It's good stuff. So we got She-Hulk number 2. Iceman number 3. What's going on with Iceman? If any Marvel people can tell me, is there a new show coming out? Is it just X-Men's? People are just excited about X-Men stuff. Iceman sitting at number 3, hopped over both Emilia Clarke, and then we got Agent Venom at number 5. I don't know. And is Agent Venom different than regular Venom? Interesting stuff. So that rounds out our non-sports culture cards. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Any surprises here that you didn't really see coming? Let me know. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.